It was the 1st of September 2004. For many of these kids, it was their first day of school. What started out as a day of great joy and excitement ended as one of the worst hostage tragedies in human history.
Inside this gymnasium, more than 1,200 hostages were crowded together with explosives suspended above their heads.
3 days later, over 300 hostages were killed, including 156 children. The terrorists were Muslims, and they carried out the attacks in the name of Islam. I'm also a Muslim, and I've dedicated my life to fighting the threat of radical Islam.
How you doing?
Fine.
Images demonstrate mild inferior fixed defects in the inferior right.
My name is RUDY Jasser. I'm a doctor currently in private practice in Phoenix, Arizona. I was a lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy, and I served as a staff physician to members of the U.S. Congress and the Supreme Court.
Thank you so much for coming.
As a devout Muslim, I saw it as my responsibility to expose the radicals. I resented that they were exploiting the religion I love.
If you listen to bin Laden, he is not a nutcase as many Muslims will want you to believe. He is a fascistic theocrat, period.
After 9/11, I started looking into what was driving radical Islam. I came across an alarming document that reveals the true agenda of much of the Muslim leadership here in America. It didn't take long after 9/11 until it was revealed that Muslims were behind the attacks.
فهؤلاء الشباب قاموا بعمل عظيم جدا، بعمل جليل، وأعطوا أمريكا درسا لن تنساه بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى.
I had expected to see Muslims in America taking to the streets and protesting against bin Laden. Instead, in the years that followed, we saw many Muslim leaders standing up to defend or support the radicals.
Stop calling them suicide bombers.
They are not suicide bombers, they are heroes.
And it's about time that we have an intifada in this country that change fundamentally the political dynamics in here.
So I formed my own organization, and I protested.
Where are the Muslims? Where are they in speaking out and condemning terrorism?
Local Muslim leaders refused to participate in the rally. In fact, shortly afterwards, I was outcast by the Islamic leadership across the country, and there was even a cartoon published in a Muslim newspaper that portrayed me as a dog cannibalizing a religious leader. It wasn't until I saw this document written in America by American Muslims that I understood what was really going on, a strategy to infiltrate and dominate America. We all know about terrorism. This is the war you don't know about.
I think there is a general tendency to underestimate the threat which is offered to us in the present global conflict.
I think the public in America is denied the strategic truth. Media and elite are not helping.
The vast majority of Americans no longer are falling for the trick of the bad terrorists who are out there to get us.
They are framing the debate as Iraq, or as Afghanistan, or as Guantanamo Bay. They're not showing the public the big picture.
جهاد ابتدائي معناه غزو العالم من أجل نشر كلمة لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله في ربوع العالم.
It's an entire movement, and the idea of it is hatred for our way of life.
فأمريكا إلى زوال والإسلام إلى بقاء.
The clash between Islam and Christendom has now been going on for more than 14 centuries, since the advent of Islam.
The first key point that Americans need to know is that this is a war, a jihadist war, which started before 9/11, before the end of the Cold War, before the beginning of the Arab-Israeli conflicts. It's a very long war with deep roots.
This is a war about religion, not because we wish it to be so, but because the radical Islamists have named it so.
فهذا يدل بوضوح على طبيعة هذه الحرب وعلى أن هذه الحرب هي حرب دينية في الأساس.
This is a global cosmic struggle between two religiously defined civilizations, which will end only when they triumph universally.
There were two major jihads in history. The first one was during the beginnings of the early Islamic Empire.
In the 7th century AD CE, Arab Muslim armies erupted from Arabia and conquered a lot of lands.
When the Arabs came out of Arabia and moved into the Fertile Crescent, eastwards to Iraq and Iran and Central Asia and India, westwards to Syria, Palestine, Egypt, North Africa, and from there into Europe, where they ruled Spain and Portugal and a good part of Italy for quite a while. That was obviously not done by peaceful persuasion.
That was the first major jihad. The second jihad, when the Turks invaded the Balkans all the way to the walls of Vienna.
They conquered the great Christian city of Constantinople in 1453, and they were able to expand into southeastern Europe, conquering the whole of the southeast.
And where we find ourselves today, we're in the third and final phase of their mission to bring about the domination of their version of Islam.
If one wants to find out what is motivating radical Islam, surely it's more sensible to look at what they actually say they're doing and what their intentions actually are.
The main goal of our jihad and resistance is to implement the law of Allah and to fight against the infidels all over the world and implement one religion across the world.
Jihad is a foreign policy to expand the Islamic authority all over the world.
ما نعتقده أن جميع الأرض لا بد أن تكون تحت حكم الإسلام لا يخرج عن ذلك ذرة واحدة منه.
نحتل العالم من أجل أن تنتصر كلمة لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله على قطب موسكو وواشنطن وباريس.
In the world's most populous Muslim nation, a call for Islamic law.
So when we look at the conflicts in India, Chechnya, Gaza, Indonesia, Iraq, Somalia, and countless other countries, this is what's at the root, the quest for Islam to become the dominant religion and Sharia the law of the land.
It seems so preposterous and so unbelievable, but yet thousands and millions of people follow this and take it seriously.
I think the New York City Muslim Day Parade is a perfect microcosm of Muslim representation in America. You had a majority of Muslims that were of all races, creeds, and heritage that were celebrating their country and were clearly proud of being American.
I live in America, I work in America, I sleep in America, I was born in America. I love this country.
But unfortunately, there are also those Muslims that hold more radical views.
Islam will dominate. That's what it will be.
These groups are